Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Kay. Thank you for coming to our water wellness presentation today. I'm so happy that you're here. Our invitation said we will learn, laugh, watch, and receive. So are you ready to learn and laugh with us? Are you ready to watch and receive? Great. Last year, I began learning with Steve Clark, and I was amazed at what he taught me. Water may appear to be simple, but it's very, very complex. And water is the most important fluid that we put into our bodies. So the water we choose can make all the difference between sickness over here and wellness over here. Stephen is a certified H2 molecular hydrogen advisor. He is also a molecular hydration specialist and water expert. Stephen has spent thousands of hours researching this topic. He has helped celebrities such as Rick Springfield, Terry Fader, and pro athletes. Currently, Stephen writes a newspaper column called What's in Your Water? Stephen is also the National Education and Training Director for Tient USA. So, are you ready to take in accurate knowledge about the science of water? Yay! Okay. Without any further ado, let's please give a warm welcome to Stephen Clark.
Know me a little bit. The easiest way is to use questions. So, you see the hands there? By a show of hands, how many of you love eating chocolate? Okay, we got like a 75%. That's pretty good. That's about usually what we get. Here's the next one. How many of you love eating food? Now we're pretty much unanimous. Every hand's up on that one. Now, how many of you came here today mainly to eat our chocolate and eat our food? Actually, you're supposed to laugh. You're supposed to laugh at that one. Okay. So by a show of hands, how many of you love to learn? See, we're starting to get unanimous now. This is great. How about love to laugh? Aha, okay. So while we learn some new things together, how many of you will try to laugh at my jokes and humor? We'll try. All you have to raise your hand is just try. So it's unanimous, because if you do, you get a much better presentation. I feed off of your energy. But if you put me asleep, that means I put you to sleep, which means, wait, how's that go? But let's feed off of each other and have a good time today. So now that I know some things about you, would you like to know a few things about me? Yes. Yeah, well, thank you. Hey, already a very lively group. That's really nice. We did one a couple months ago, and the group was in below 4 degrees weather at night in the snow, and everyone was just stiff. But it turned out everyone at that presentation ended up, wanting to get this technology. So let me first of all say I'm nothing special. I'm not a health nut. I'm not a workout fanatic. I'm certainly not a know-it-all kind of a guy. I'm just your average person, like most of you, with an open mind and a thirst for knowledge about wellness. And the reason why is because I had a lot of health problems hit me all at once. And I didn't want to age and die the way most Americans do. So, but on top of that, at heart, I'm a skeptic. How many of you, honestly, are kind of on the skeptical, just through life, things have happened. So about half of us, you're like a group, because usually you become the most strongly motivated because we're going to present evidence, facts, medical studies, irrefutable things. So I ended up doing a lot of research on health and wellness regarding my health problems. And my wife and I, we were flying all over the country, and I had 4 spine surgeries and all kinds of medical modalities. I spent over $30,000 seeking a cure or at least some relief from the problems I had. And they were very serious, including cancer. But nothing really worked. Nothing improved my health. But I tried everything. So what put me on this quest for accurate knowledge about water and hydration? Well, in 2000, go back there, my right neck and shoulder, they were pulverized. They were crushed all here and all the way up here, completely demolished in a horrible accident. So it unleashed 24/7 constant pain. Do you know how they graded? I was at 10 all day, 24 hours a day. Barely could get to sleep. Then became compromised because of that. So I got an infection, which led to also some skin cancer all over my face, hands, and arms. The inactivity ended up putting weight on. I put on over 70 pounds because of what happened. And that's me. I got the nickname Pillsbury Doughboy. I got so big, and it was like, whoo-hoo! Remember that commercial? So, and then the chronic fatigue took over. And just for a moment, just so you can appreciate this is for real now. I have tons and tons of friends to get around. Hold on just a second. We're getting a little bit of feedback. We'll see was that me? Did I do something wrong?
Move this way.
Thank you. So I try to bring this whenever I can because I got a real fancy one, but I was 232 pounds. I'm now 160, what I'm supposed to be. But I was moving around like this, and it had a little chair. I'd go to church and turn around like this, sit down, listen to the presentation or Bible verses and so forth. And this is how I got around. That's how I was it was pretty bad. So let me just get this out of the way. I'll just leave it here as a reminder. So, is it that or that? Okay. So let's go back to, so I needed a walker, and with all the extra weight, my knee started to hurt, get stiff, and it got arthritis in my right knee. So everything's going wrong. So in late 2010, a good friend, a wonderful lady, urged me to drink ionized alkaline water that she was going to make with her ionizer in her kitchen. So with nothing to lose, we brought over our plastic jugs, filled them up, brought it home, and we started having positive changes within the first few weeks. And we did that for a couple of months. I think we wore out our welcome at 2 months. That's a long time, take someone's water. But here's what happened in those 2 months. We got more energy, better sleep. Tina's acid reflux of 10 years, gone in those 2 months. I started to lose weight, and that pain at level 10 started coming down. That didn't go away completely, but it started coming down. So the only major change was the water. So in early 2011, we bought our first water ionizer from Tyant USA. And since then, month by month, year by year, our health has slowly improved. And it really has slowed down our aging process. My wife and I were in our 60s. We honestly feel right now like we did when we were in our 40s, occasionally in late 30s, but pretty much our 40s. We feel like we're 20 years younger. And so I lost the 70 pounds. The arthritis and stiffness were history. Skin cancers all over my face. And when we meet during the break, I'll show you the little remnants that are left, but they're gone. My choking spells during meals disappeared. Had that for 23 years. Water got rid of it, and it took about 2 years to fix that. Even toe fungus, you know those thick nails that people get? This water can help you with that. One final thing I'm a little embarrassed about, but you really need to know about me. That's me. In other words, you need to know that since 4th grade, I have been a stutterer. So obviously, I have a fear of public speaking. And as it says, I have a hard time saying certain consonants or words, especially words that have 4, 5, 6, 7 syllables. So I was going to ask you a favor. If you notice today me slurring or getting stuck on a word, how many of you would be willing to help me out and finish the word or two that I'm struggling with? Thank you, volunteers. Just help me, because it will happen. Now that I said it will happen, it probably will. But there is one word I can say. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. Hey, I got through it. 10 syllables. So maybe we'll have a good day. So let's get started now. Those are kind of the introductions. And so this is kind of our main theme, leading American families into the next revolution, hydrogen-rich H2 water. So major revolutions only occur in health and medicine, only occur once or twice in a lifetime. So when was the last major revolution? Can you think in your mind the last major revolution? So just think of it in your head right now. And I'm going to give you a hint. There's your hint. Now you can raise your hand and yell it out. So it was back in 1953. DNA was finally mapped out by 2 researchers, the double helix model, and that has changed medicine and health as we know it. That was the last. I checked 10 sources to make sure that was an accurate statement. Guess what? When the last one before that? It was in 1928. It was penicillin. So revolutions in health and medicine and medical care only occur every 20 or 30, 40 years or so. So in a lifetime, you might be fortunate to be part of 1 or 2. So today, right now, you and I are alive during the next major, huge revolution in health and wellness. And what is it called? Well, look on the screen here. We call it these 4 things. You'll hear this today. Molecular hydrogen, hydrogen-rich H2 water, dissolved hydrogen gas, or diatomic hydrogen water. Those are all synonyms or phrases for the same thing we're talking about. But that's how the scientists refer to them, is all of that. So in our presentation, that was on your invitation, we're going to learn about all these things that are mentioned there. We're going to watch some fascinating videos. And then each of you should have a student binder or an attendee binder. And just know you have in your hands right now over 1,000 hours of research. So this has been given a nickname by a lot of our customers. They call it their water Bible. And as we come out with new research, then we send it to them, they 3-hole punch it, and they put it in their binder. And they always keep this in their kitchen near their ionizer, where it always has the latest and most up-to-date research. But you'll notice in here, my complete story, and then you get into the 600 studies. There's information about heart disease, arthritis, cancer, skin disorders, and then we really get into some real important aspects in the back about the dangers of the wrong waters. But I may refer to you this from time to time. So since we're talking about molecules and atoms, this is your time now to prove your sense of humor. Why should you never trust atoms? Does anybody know the answer to that? Here's the reason why. Because they make up everything. Okay, I know it's dry, but we can't get risque either. I have to show you respect. So, okay, we got that out of the way. So, we posed this question in our pre-loop we were showing you. Have you ever considered if you may be drinking water for sickness without your knowledge versus water for wellness? Sadly, most Americans never even think about water for wellness. Or if they have, they've been misinformed. They really haven't taken a class like this to learn the real truth and science about all waters. And so here's what's going on across America. And right there, that's me as a little boy back in the 50s, in the tub, drinking out of the faucet. Maybe a lot of you did the same thing as little boys and girls, little, toddlers, just like that. That's going on across America. So we're going to cover 4 areas today. So you can, in your head, you can kind of follow the outline. And the 4 areas are the crisis. We're in the midst of a national water crisis and health crisis. And then the second thing, we'll move into the solution, a really simple solution to deal with both of those. Then third, the company that's behind that solution. And then finally, the savings, that you can actually save money by switching over to a different technology for your water. And then get into the cost of that. You'll be surprised how low the cost is. So where do you think Americans rank in health among the major nations? Well, let me show you. That's from the World Health Organization, and we are dead last. Dead last. Here's why. Americans suffer more deaths from those diseases that are mentioned right there. Cancer, heart disease, lung disease, obesity, diabetes, to name a few. And Americans have more mental health problems and diagnosis and diseases than any other country in the world. So that's why we rank dead last. But you have to ask, why? Why is it that way? There's 3 main reasons. And we'll just focus on the 3 main ones. The first one is the obvious, which is most Americans have a poor diet and a poor exercise or no exercise routine. But the next 2 relate to water. Most are drinking what we call dead water or acidic water or toxic water or all of the above, and they don't even know it. Even people that are health conscious will drink unhealthy water that's just not hydrating them. And here's a fact, 75% of Americans, so odds are in this room, 3/4 of you that came today that have no knowledge of this are dehydrated. Because, that's a national statement. And there's 4 sources there that confirm that is a real number, 3/4 of Americans. So what can chronic dehydration lead to? Well, the first sign is fatigue. The next sign is muscle and joint pain. And then you have respiratory problems, headaches and ulcers, weight gain, high blood pressure, and kidney disease, stones, and more. And so, why is maintaining our hydration levels at 100% so important? You see that chart there? We're going to explain it really quick. For every 1% you become dehydrated, you actually lose 5% of your energy. So you can do the math. When you get up to losing 5%, look at how it goes way down. You've lost a third of your energy. No wonder people drag themselves around, especially in the afternoons and evenings. So most Americans are walking around at least 3 or 4%, but often we find that they're actually at 5, 6, 7, and 8, especially the elderly. So how important is water? Did you know the average adult body is made up of 55 to 60% water? And then the average adult body contains 10 to 13 gallons. I need a 1 gallon something. Where's my 1 gallon jug? Well, I don't have it. Where is it then? Okay, we'll have to improvise. This is a half gallon. So you're walking around, you and me, if we're fully hydrated, with 20 to 26 of these, since this is a half gallon. That's a lot of water. But remember, Americans are chronically dehydrated and they just don't know it. So that's why it's important to be aware of hydration. Here's another point. 2/3 of the water that enters our body is in what's called the extracellular compartment of the body. Or, I'm sorry, the inside of the cells. The intracellular, 1/3 outside the cells. So water's involved in virtually every process and every system that's working in your body. Water is a component of that. From the brain all the way down to your pinky toe. So what body parts contain the most percentage of water? Right now, could you, in your mind, just go in your head, and some of you already know the answer because you've seen this before. But some of you who've never seen this before, could you yell out an organ in your body, a body part that you think has the most water? Bladder, brain, and skin. And no one has ever guessed the right answer. And don't feel bad, because I didn't know either. You're going to be surprised. Here we go. Your eyes. See, it's basically just tissue, and it's all filled up with aqueous solution. No wonder Americans have also the most vision problems. Their eyes are dehydrated, and they're drinking the wrong fluids. But your lungs and blood, 83%, kidney and muscle, 79%, heart and brain, so those of you that said brain, 73%, and skin. And, of course, bones. Almost 1/3 of your bones needs hydration and water. So we really need accurate knowledge about all types of water, but making sure it's based on facts and true, real science and scientific studies. And so Tient as a company leads the way with over 600 studies that we make available if you want to go and look at them. We'll talk about them later. But right now, we're going to examine these areas of water. And on the back of your binders, you have what's called the water egg. So just know that this is just a brief summary from worst to best water. If you'll notice, the worst is well water. And then as you move up the egg, it's getting a little bit better. But the ultimate water, of course, is what we're going to teach you about today. So let's start with filtered water. Did you know filtered water is often not healthy for you? Now, this almost sounds like a contradiction, huh? Well, if it's pure, if it's been filtered, it must be healthy. But let's just start with the basic pitcher or jug refrigerator filters. First, you get what you pay for, and they only filter out about 5 to 15% of just a few things. I mean, if you pay $29 or $49 for something, you're really only going to get a little bit of filter media. And then read the language on all these companies. They will never, ever put specific percentages of what they take out of the water. And thus, most of the toxins are remaining in the water when you use these small pitcher typed. Now I want to ask you a question for you to say yes or no. Is your tap water safe? Your answer, please.
Yes.
No! No!
And the answer is absolutely no. Now, here's some numbers that'll really get you. There are 60,000 chemicals in use right now in this country. The EPA only regulates 91. And there's over 2,100 unregulated toxins that they've already found in, groundwater all over the country, all over the 50 states. That's a lot to take in. And one that they find a lot is called perchlorate. It's a poison to the thyroid. Perchlorate is rocket fuel. And every time we celebrate the 4th of July, do you know what's in those ones that shoot up? It's perchlorate. So every year around the country, as that's celebrated, that gets shot up into the sky, often over harbors and lakes and things like that, and rivers. And all that just comes back down. And we've been doing that kind of celebration for, 100, 150 years? Just know that's perchlorate that goes up and comes back down. 100, 150 years of that. Then CNN had a breaking news story about lead. 5,300 systems were in violation. 18 million Americans exposed to lead without their knowledge. And they even got a retired EPA officer to admit the crisis. Would you like to see this video? It'll just awaken you to the real crisis we're in. So here we go. And I'm not getting audio. So maybe we can help with the audio, because it won't make any sense without the dialogue. And I can go back and restart it. Okay, so here we go. And here we go. Nice.
More than 18 million Americans are getting their drinking water from systems that have violated federal lead rules. Not only does the EPA know about it, they've done almost nothing to enforce their own regulations, according to multiple industry experts.
I think that the public needs to be told the truth about contamination in their water supply.
More than 5,000 water systems are in violation, including failure to properly test water, failure to report contamination, and failure to treat water properly, according to a new analysis by the Natural Resources Defense Council, or NRDC. In 9 out of 10 cases, the EPA took no enforcement action when water systems violated the lead and copper rule, the federal regulation meant to keep America's tap water safe from lead.
Imagine a cop sitting, watching people run stop signs and speed at 90 miles an hour through small communities and doing absolutely nothing about it. That's unfortunately what we have now.
Eric Olson is among the experts, saying water utilities are routinely gaming the system, using incorrect testing methods to avoid detecting high levels of lead. What that means is there are even more water systems with lead issues that aren't officially in violation.
They don't care if they're violating the law. They don't feel like they're going to face any penalties.
Philadelphia is one city accused of gaming the system. In 2014, city officials sent residents questionable instructions for testing, telling them to pre-flush their water and remove aerators, which often trap particles of lead. Experts say both techniques would make lead levels appear lower than they actually are. In fact, the EPA instructed as far back as 2007 that they should not remove or clean aerators.
I was concerned. I wanted to test my home's water.
Jonathan King's 18-month-old daughter has been drinking Philadelphia's water from the tap since she was born. He's organizing a group of homeowners to get independent answers because he doesn't trust the way the city conducted its testing.
It concerns me that they're not using the best practices available. It concerns me that they're not following the latest EPA regulations.
So why doesn't the EPA enforce its own rules? Multiple sources and industry experts tell CNN it comes down to two key reasons. Water isn't a main priority for the EPA because its resources are stretched thin, and the EPA has a cozy relationship with the water systems it's supposed to regulate.
They're friends, they hang out with each other, they ask for each other's advice, and you get close after a while.
So should citizens be worried?
Citizens should be very concerned.
When Alan Morrissey retired last year from his job as an EPA Water Department enforcement officer, he said he was frustrated because blatant violations would go without punishment. Morrissey says even EPA employees don't trust what comes out of their tap.
So most of my colleagues have all chosen to install a water filter underneath our kitchen sink.
But you're saying that people who work at the EPA are buying water filters because they aren't confident in the quality of their tap water.
Yes.
Wow. How many were shocked or kind of like it confirmed what you already thought? Kind of confirms what you're already suspicious about. See, there it goes. Suspicious, that's a hard word to say for me. So, what else is in tap water? Well, arsenic, which is a category 1 carcinogen, definitely causes cancer. We've got radio contaminants, uranium. Basically, by the way, locally here you have a lot of uranium. Drugs, pesticides, insecticides, total trihomethanes, which are 1,000 times more toxic than chlorine. We know chlorine's bad, but that's 1,000 times more toxic on the body. Chemicals that mimic hormones, hexavalent chromium, the Aaron Brockovich movie that you probably watched or heard about, and then those 2,100 unregulated toxins. Those are all across America. And I'm going to show you your local water report in just a little bit. What else is in tap water? Industrial waste in the form of fluoride. Did you know fluoride is a class 4 hazardous waste material? When they handle it, they have to wear hazmat suits, wear special breathing gear, and yet they're dumping that into our water supply to get rid of an industrial waste, claiming that it's good for our teeth. But it's added without our consent. It's more toxic than lead and almost as poisonous as arsenic. Most countries have banned it, and look what it leads to. We have studies to show fluoride directly linked to cancer, thyroid problems, osteoporosis, and it actually eventually hardens the tooth so much it becomes brittle with age, and that's how you often get cracked teeth. I mean, we always think it's that nut that we bit on or a bone or something, and that could have contributed, but it's the fluoride over 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years that's just causing that tooth to get overly hard to the point of being brittle. So how can fluoride, arsenic, and uranium be removed from water? How do we get it out? It really is not easy. It can be removed with what's called activated alumina. It's also known as aluminum oxide. It's the same substance that's made that we get rubies and sapphires from. Isn't that interesting? And so would you like to see pure rubies and sapphires right now? The kind that's used for filtration. Well, Tyant offers a commercial grade 2-bank filter and a 3-bank for people who have well water that will remove 99% of the, and above, of the fluoride, arsenic, and uranium. And you have all 3 of those in your local water. So that's what it looks like. I have one right here to show you. And so now we're going to show you the pure rubies and sapphires. This is the pure rubies and sapphires. This is a huge filter, which the water comes in, goes down, goes through that much filtration. And you notice this little fact here. It has it's porous with a surface area of 200 square meters. So picture a home with 2,100 square feet. That's how much surface area under the microscope and the way it's designed that it has per gram. So picture a little gram in your 2,100 square foot home. That's how incredible this filter is. It's a commercial grade filter, and we recommend that people want to go all the way, completely remove all the toxic stuff, that they install this with their ionizer. So we'll let you take a look at this on the break, but it's fascinating. It's all white, where rubies and sapphires get their color from what? From the impurities that are in them. So this is mined in its white state, its pure state. So it's been called the greatest fraud ever perpetrated. Only 5% of the world now fluoridates its water. And the maximum contaminant level for fluoride is 4,000 parts per billion. But look what they set as a limit for arsenic and lead. Why in the world would they let it be that high? Because they want to get rid of it. And they're dumping it in our water supply. And the only thing that can get it, reverse osmosis cannot remove it. No matter what anyone has told you, it cannot remove it. Because of its molecular weight and size, it's nearly exactly the size as a water drop itself. So it passes right through the membrane of the reverse osmosis. That's something that you would want to factor in. So Dr. Schatz said it's the greatest fraud ever perpetrated on more people than any other fraud. And just so you know, this was a pretty big deal. Fluoride causes more human cancer death and faster than any other chemical. Please remember this. Fluoride is almost at the top. There's one more that's maybe even worse, but it's way up there. And he was the head of the National Cancer Institute here in the United States back in the 60s and 70s and beyond. When he came in, he was pro-fluoride. And he honestly did a study and looked at the evidence, looked at populated areas that were fluoridated, and he saw a much higher cancer rate in those cities and states. So what do you think might be the most dangerous chemical we haven't mentioned yet? Well, here it is. Here we go, chlorine. And you probably know somebody that has experienced that rash because of the chlorine that's in the water. Chlorine, I'm going to teach you something now. I had no idea. My entire life I've been bathing and taking showers in wonderful chlorinated water, swimming in the spa, chlorinated water. But watch this. Chlorine is a pesticide. So its sole purpose is to do what? Kill living organisms. So when we consume or touch water with chlorine, it's going to kill a part of us, some cells and tissue. And according to the EPA, this is not me making it up, and these are sources here, 3 sources that confirm it. Americans are consuming 300 to 600 times the toxic safety level. And a lot of that, they're doing it by way of swimming in their spas, and then when they take a bath at home or hot showers. Now they vaporize it and they breathe it into their lungs, and over time they get these respiratory problems. So it's been called the greatest crippler and killer of modern times. And so the risk of developing cancer almost doubles if you're exposed to chlorine at high levels. And we have studies that link it to cancer, heart, colon problems, lung, and other respiratory issues. And that's the doctor that we're quoting from right there. Now, one way Tyant as a company, and Mary here locally as the Tyant dealer, we use some advanced commercial grade filters that simply install on the shower. And we also have bath balls that hang underneath the faucet of the bath. Really inexpensive. We sell them basically just a little, almost at cost, because we want you to have this protection. And this removes the chlorine and a few other things, but mainly chlorine. And this shower head is really fantastic. You won't believe how different your hair and everything feels when you get rid of the chlorine from your showers and baths. What are the top 10 worst states for tap water quality? Here we go. New York, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New Mexico. Do any of you have relatives or friends in any of those states? Just raise your hand, because I have them in every state. So we're all unanimous on that. Want to know the next four? And if Florida is in there, here we go. You're number 4. So we got Texas, Florida, working our way, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Guess what's number 1? Here we go. California. Yeah. California is the worst. And inside your student manual, in the back, we have a write-up with all the details so you can read the research. That took a lot of research to pull together, but it's back there somewhere in the back, the top 10 states. So you would want to warn family and friends and anyone else, if they don't have protection, they need to get protection within their home. So we're going to show you 2 water reports that we pulled. Remember, we invited you and said we would show you a water report. Are you ready to see what your water has in it? So in Pinellas County, Clearwater, how many of you live in Pinellas County, Clearwater? So maybe about a third, all right? You have 24 total toxic contaminants, starting with arsenic, barium, chromium, cyanide, lead, nitrite, antimony, and a lot of those I can't even say, but I can say chloroform. Who wants to be drinking chloroform? Then we have those trihalomethanes. Then right up here, look at right there, radium-226 and uranium itself is in the water. Let's go to the next one we pulled for you. St. Petersburg Water Resources. So how many of you here are from that area? So, okay, that service is over 300,000. It has 18 poisonous contaminants. And again, starting with, well, let's go back. Let's go back. There we go. So, starting with arsenic, barium, cyanide, lead, nitrites, or nitrates and nitrites, then all those fancy ones that are hard for me to say. There's those trihalomethanes. And again, now in this county or area, you have radium-226 and 228. So you have another radioactive ingredient plus the uranium. And it's coming from all kinds of sources. How many of you knew that all that was in your water? And the answer is I almost never get a hand that people actually knew every one of those was in there. They knew it was bad, but they didn't know the exact. So we need to ask ourselves, am I or is anyone in my family or one at my place of business, drinking, brewing coffee with, bathing, getting showers, washing your vegetables and fruits, washing your hands with tap water. Because if your answer was yes, there's no need to feel guilty or panic. And the reason why is, first, it's not your fault. Most Americans are not being taught the real truth and science of what's happening to our precious water source. And second, we do have an innovative and cost-effective solution that we're going to teach you about later in detail. But before we get to that, we want to get more back into the national crisis that we're talking about. So I'm going to ask you now to answer that question. Is bottled water any safer than tap water?
No.
Okay, I want you to try to see if you can beat this one. So again, is bottled water any safer?
No. For the last time, no.
Okay, I think you beat him that time. Very nice. So, absolutely no. They did a study. They found 24,000 chemicals in bottled water. 240 would be bad, right? 2,400 would be bad. 24,000? And they found two classes of chemicals, phthalates and fumarates. They're endocrine disruptors. And they're used to make nearly all plastic bottles and plastic food containers. So we're being exposed to this by way of plastic. There was a huge eye-opening study in the US, the biggest one ever. The NRDC tested 1,000 bottles and 103 brands. They used 3 independent labs. This is going to knock your socks off. Here we go. And that's why I have these sitting right here. 1 out of every 3 bottled waters they tested contained significant amounts of contamination, including bacterial contamination, also E. coli, and so forth, in 1 out of 3. So look at these 3 bottles right here. Imagine you're serving your guest or yourself. Your odds are 1 out of 3 that you might get a bad bottle of water, and you have no idea in a day or two you're going to get sick. And you think it's just, I caught a cold or I caught this, and actually it was the water. The water was contaminated. Then that same study, they found 1 out of every 4, so let's add a 4th bottle here. 1 out of every 4 had arsenic in it, or some other cancer-causing compound. That's how bad the bottled water is, because it's virtually unregulated. So here's some final facts about bottled water. Most of it's dead, acidic, and highly oxidative. So that's why we don't feel energized after we drink it. And so also, most of that bottled water purchased, did you know it's been stored for at least a month, and sometimes up to 12 months in a warehouse somewhere before it gets to you? And usually those warehouses are not air conditioned, so that water's been heated up. What do you think's being pulled off of the plastic? The plastic resins are going into the water, those endocrine or hormone mimicking compounds. Does bottled water contain fluoride? Yes, most bottled water still has the fluoride in it. One more note, is your water cooler at work maybe providing or making employees sick? We like to get employers to think about this. Certainly, they don't want to contribute to their absenteeism of employees, and yet often they have that water cooler or something like it, and their employees are getting sick left and right. It's just a matter of time before someone doesn't actually clean the cooler, and within that reservoir, bacteria develops, and it should be sanitized at least every 2 or 3 days. But it gets cleaned maybe once a month or every 2 months. So The New York Times did a report. 19 million Americans become ill each year due to parasites. Oh, let's go back. Viruses and bacteria. And so since most bottled water comes from tap water, we can make this statement. Your chances of drinking water for sickness increases exponentially, whether it's tap water or bottled water. Is reverse osmosis water safe? What would be your answer to that? Want to try a little louder?
No. No.
You're correct. And I'm amazed at how good a job that industry has done in selling their product. Most of the salesmen that sell their own product really have not gone to school and learned the science of water. So they're real enthusiastic and they make their pitch and they tell you, you must drink pure water. But remember, just because water is pure does not make it healthy. If it's overly purified, it's going to make the water dead. So, again, absolutely no. It's one of the most dangerous waters a person can drink, whether it's RO or distilled water, same thing. Back in 2004, the World Health Organization issued a warning that it's definitely adverse effect or influence on animal and human populations or organisms. So it produces dead water that's unstable. So when you drink it, it goes into the body, being unstable and being a solvent. Water is a natural solvent. So it wants to grab on to things to stabilize. Guess what are the first things it starts to grab onto? Your minerals, such as calcium in your teeth and bones, as well as magnesium, potassium, body salts. It'll grab onto anything on its way out, and it just carries that out. And now you're more dehydrated, and you're set up for all the typical average diseases, that develop when we get into our 40s, 50s, and 60s. We can show you some huge clinical studies if you doubt what we're saying here. So, clearly, drinking, bathing, washing with these waters is dangerous. Why? Because we're using water for sickness. And that's a concept we want you to see. It's just a choice between one or the other. You'll either make a very informed, intelligent decision, or you'll be stubborn and you'll hang on to the old way of looking at things. So here's what happens, and this is really true. Most people never suspect that their water is aggravating or actually causing a health problem or disease, because the symptoms appear gradually over years and sometimes decades. It's a death by 1,000, what do they say? Cuts. Yeah, that's how it goes. And so here's what happens. One day when yourself or a family member or an employee, a friend gets sick, what is the assumption there? Could someone just yell it out? What do people normally assume when they get really sick? Genetics or getting old. They just assume that. They never go back and, could water be a component? Could it be the biggest component of why I'm starting to really feel my age? I'm in my 50s now, and I'm so sluggish. And that's what's happening across America to even earlier than 50s, even in 40s, even when they're in their 30s. Thankfully, again, there's no need to panic. So Tyant USA has the most advanced and affordable solution in North America. And we'll show you that's a true statement. It's not just hype. And again, we'll show you what these units look like. But Tyant offers ionizers with up to 11 commercial-grade titanium plates. They're certified medical devices. And we have the largest surface area. If you were to take all 11 plates and lay them on the floor, they make up 2.67 square feet of titanium. The other companies that make their units, they, to save money, use less titanium, less plate surface, so they can't get the more potent medical water that we can get and deliver to our customers. And our units filter at the same level as kidney dialysis. So now we're talking about purity. The water is going to be the purest water on earth. So let's watch a short video about ionization and the benefits of that. This is what we're going to cover now, and look for that quote at the very end. We're not getting audio. So we'll probably have to just skip this one for now. What I'll do is I'll pause it. I know none of that means anything to you because you're not hearing the dialogue with it. But if you just watch it, I think it's going to mix you up. So maybe we can show it to you on the other side when we take our break. Just know that that video talks about ionization, how water is split into two streams within an ionizer, producing alkaline water with hydrogen and acidic water for antibacterial cleaning. So, and then there's a doctor we have that talks about how 95% of all diseases are basically driven by toxicity in the body in one form or another. So ionizers also provide the healthiest water on earth that can potentially help us that may be suffering from, notice any of those conditions there. These are the more mild ones, low energy, and so forth. But we have customers that call in and write in all the time. Now we get a little more serious, arthritis through skin rashes, kidney stones, gout, migraines, cataracts, glaucoma. And then we get real serious. The hydrogen-rich Tient water can actually work on Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, a lot of brain disorders. We have studies that deal with schizophrenia, bipolar. You'd be amazed what the water can do as it works its way into the brain tissue. And of course, all kinds of cancer. So what makes Tient water the healthiest water on earth? We like to say it's the 3 A's of water. Anybody know what the 3 A's of water are? The first one is the water is alive. It's alive with hydrogen, it's alive with oxygen, it's alive with minerals. Now the second A, it's alkaline, and we'll be showing you why that's so important later. And then third, it's antioxidant. So we can, with 11 plates, we can get up to a negative 1050 ORP, and we'll teach you what that means right after we break. We're going to break in just a moment so you can start drinking the water, have some refreshments, some snacks. We're going to put those out. But I want to leave you with this question. What is molecular hydrogen? And why are researchers and doctors around the world, why are they so excited about this revolution in hydrogen-enriched water? Well, that's what we're going to do when we come back. So we'll answer those questions. Let's take like a 10-minute break or so and get some snacks. I believe there's even some chocolate. And let's all at least drink lots of the Tient hydrogen-rich healthy water. And then when we resume, we're going to get into the most important part of our presentation and teach you about molecular hydrogen. And then we're going to have a very special announcement towards the end. So let's take about a 10-minute break or so. Use the Hey, everybody have your chocolate. Try some alkaline ionized water with hydrogen in it and minerals and plenty of oxygen. We're going to go back that video that you missed. We were able to fix it. So let's see now the basics of water ionizers.
Water. Without it, the human body cannot survive. In fact, the human body is made up almost entirely of water, and yet most people do not understand or appreciate its importance. Not all water is the same. There are many key factors that determine whether the water that you're putting in your body is helping you or hurting you. Throughout the world, there have been areas identified where people are miraculously living longer and healthier lives. When investigated, the commonality between these regions was found in the water that was being consumed, which proved to be very alkaline and highly ionized. Even today, people continue to search the world to find water with these miraculous properties, which is said can turn back the hands of time. Many years ago, 2 Russian scientists actually created a way to transform ordinary tap water into alkaline ionized water, a real-life fountain of youth. By running ordinary tap water across magnetic plates, they were able to separate the water into 2 streams, one alkaline and one acidic. This simple process is called ionization. The next generation of ionization has been perfected, and it is here, now, and available for you and your family. It is now possible to transform ordinary tap water that comes from your kitchen faucet into something truly special. Water that becomes alive, energized, and filled with life-changing benefits.
It's working. People are getting results, and it's amazing.
I just feel so blessed that we were able to find the client and have it work so well. The very first thing that we really tried.
I've been so pleased with what it has done for me and my family. By far, it is the most significant and best health investment I've ever made.
Tyant alkaline ionized water is truly special because it provides wonderful life-changing benefits. Each glass of Tyant water contains millions of age-defying antioxidants. Tyant water is super hydrating. It provides essential ionic alkaline minerals to your body, and above all, it helps remove harmful waste and toxicity.
And I feel strongly that 95% of human disease is toxicity. Toxicity is responsible for cancers. Toxicity is responsible for heart disease. It's responsible for all vascular disease. It's responsible for all neurodegenerative diseases. And that starts, if you want to go from the top and the worst ones, of Alzheimer's disease and ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, to multiple sclerosis and to autism and to attention deficit disorder. All of those diseases have a commonality of toxicity in the body.
So wasn't that nice to get kind of an overview, look inside an ionizer, and hear what that doctor had to say? So we're going to go back to where we left off. Give me just a moment to find where we're at. And here's where we're at. We want to welcome you back to the second half of our presentation. So we're going to get into now, we're really going to get into the solution to this national crisis. And remember, there's 2 components. There's a water crisis and a national health crisis. We rank dead last as a advanced country. So, are you ready to learn about the most exciting discovery in medical science since 1953? Yeah. And are you ready to learn why researchers and doctors around the world are so excited about this revolution in water? Yes. So here we go. It is because we now have nearly 2,000 professionals. They are licensed, accredited researchers, doctors, ones with PhDs. I mean, these are the super brains, way beyond my IQ. They have proved hydrogen gas delivered through a water ionizer, look at that, has therapeutic benefits in essentially every organ of the human body. Can you think of anything in your life, a pill, a food, a fluid, anything besides this that can help every organ in your body? There just isn't one singular thing except oxygen, air, right? Thank you. Yeah, and so we do that anyway. And so, but notice this. Notice this. This is real key. I want to walk you through what's been going on. This research spans 40 years, but they only recently connected the dots from early studies in the 1970s and 80s to these therapeutic, they call them healing springs around the world. And then in 2007, the aha moment occurred. And from 2007 forward, all of a sudden, more studies into the hundreds now, over 600 studies to prove hydrogen gas was the component. It was right in front of them the whole time. They looked at H2O, and they always looked at the O, and they ignored the H2, hydrogen. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more. These healing waters, they've been around for thousands of years in places like Japan, Mexico, India, Germany, France. And the chronically ill and incurable have traveled to these locations. And they've bathed, and they even drink the water for a week, a month, and they actually start to feel better. Some of them actually relocate there so they can get it regularly. It was only recently discovered through hundreds of medical studies that it was the hydrogen gas that was the primary therapeutic component of that healing that was taking place. So scientists, doctors, medical researchers, and other professionals, they finally proved why the healing springs around the world actually were helping the chronically ill and the incurable. It was the molecular hydrogen, also known as H2. We shorten it that way. So, can you explain in simple terms what is molecular hydrogen? I couldn't until I went to school, learn. You're going to get it now, condensed down in the next 6 minutes. Are you ready to really try to pull it in? It's very detailed. You'll feel like you're in a college class right now. But I'm going to try to keep it as basic as possible. So here we go. You remember that in school? Periodic table of elements. Well, the very first one is hydrogen. You see the number 1.00. That's the atomic weight. And here's our hydrogen atom. 1 proton, 1 electron. In atomic weight, it's the lightest atom in the universe. It has a weight of 1 mole. When it's delivered through an ionizer, the combined atomic weight of dissolved molecular hydrogen is how many moles? 2. Just 2. It's so tiny. That makes purified ionized water the lightest liquid for human consumption. And because of its mass, the hydrogen atom is the smallest. So we have the lightest and the smallest available to us now. But atomic hydrogen by itself, just one molecule, is hard, it's rare to find, and it's highly unstable when it's pulled away from something. So a single hydrogen atom is neutral and it has an unpaired electron, so it's unstable. It seeks to stabilize itself. So When single hydrogen atoms are combined to other single hydrogen atoms through a water ionizer and electrolysis, that forms what we call stabilized molecular hydrogen, also known as H2, also known as diatomic hydrogen. And there's what it looks like right there. When it's paired to, now it's stable in the form of a gas. And so this is what it looks like inside a water ionizer, a Tyant ionizer. On the right-hand side, on the cathode side of the plates, there's a negative charge, and those little blue combined ones that say H2, if you can see them right about there, right about there. Now the ionizer is producing these in huge quantities. You're going to be shocked at the quantities that a powerful ionizer, the right ionizer, can produce. So because Tyant water contains the lightest and smallest H2 atoms in the universe, molecular hydrogen will quickly hydrate nearly every cell in your body. Like right now, I'm up to about 1.25 gallons. I know that might seem excessive. Maybe you could call me a waterholic at the moment. But that's what I drink every day. Minimum 1 gallon. I try to get 1.25, 1.5. And I'm just feeling younger, a little bit younger all the time. The only thing it's not fixing is the gray hair. I don't know why. But everything else it's fixing. So, but you know, Mary wanted to come forward because we're at a point now where she likes to use music therapy. And she was dying to let me have her come forward and sing a little song. Yes. Yes. You were practicing last night. I just need a hand mic for her, and oh, we have one right here. So why don't you just come over here?
This is our theme song. Can you hear me through this? Okay. And it's called Every Little Cell in My Body is Happy, and every little cell in my body is well. And it goes to the tune of Shortening Bread. So will you be sports and sing along with me? Yeah.
We're ready.
I'll give you I'll just say the first 2 words and then we'll sing it. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Feels so good. Every little cell in my body is happy and well. Feels so good. Every little cell in my body is happy and well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Woohoo! Thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Mary.
Sing in the shower.
So you had no idea you're going to get musical entertainment at no charge. Now you have a jingle to take home with you. So let's get back to where we left off. You've got that melody in your head. Every little cell, we want that cell to get energy and hydrated. Take a look at this right now. Hydrogen therapy is the new help me with that word. Revolution, thank you. Revolution in medical science. It truly is. And doctors that are in cutting edge, looking forward instead of looking back, are coming on board every year. We're up to about 2,000 now, professionals. And hydrogen therapy can deal with, let's start at the bottom, diabetes, cerebrovascular, respiratory diseases, cardiovascular, pneumonia, influenza, kidney issues, and of course, none of us want to come down with Alzheimer's, and yet this is the water that can get in there, remodel the body, all the body parts, reach every little cell in your body and make it well, if that's okay. So, thank you. So, just keep that in mind. Let's go a little bit further. I get really excited about this part. So, Tyant leads us into this revolution by making sure you have access to over 600 of these studies. And within a year, we should be up to 700 because it's going wild now all over the world. But let's just start with 500, okay? Now, take a look at that. 500 of these studies have been published. Do you recognize those? Those are, what would you call them? Those are medical journals, and you don't get into those if you're a wacky pseudoscience thing. It has to be real science to get into those journals. 500 have been published in those journals. And I need somebody to read this quote, and let me set it up. Of all the quotes today that you walk away with, this is the most important quote and knowledge you can take with you about this water with hydrogen in it. Could someone maybe in the back just read nice and loud? Thank you.
Over 500 peer-reviewed articles demonstrate hydrogen has therapeutic potential in essentially every organ of the human body and in 150 different human disease models.
I mean, thank you. Do you realize the revolution that's taking place as we speak? And by the way, it says 150. They just increased it to 170. They just have not updated their website yet that we took this from. The Molecular Hydrogen Foundation. But it's going to just keep going. More studies, more studies. This water is going to be the universal, I won't say panacea, but the universal liquid that all of us need to age more slowly and gracefully the way we were meant to if we're going to age. But 500 articles, every organ of the body, 150 human diseases. Just lock that in. That's just an incredible thing. And here's what we have. On our website, on Mary's website, and on all the Tyant websites, we actually have 544. And you'll notice they have different categories. You can go on and look at anything that you're concerned with yourself or family, from bone, brain, cancer, eye, heart. We've got kidney, liver, lung, pain issues, skin. I mean, there's just all these. Let me show you real quick. See if you can read these. There you go. Can you keep up with that? We thought we would tease you with that. But that's all the studies on the website, and any you're interested in, you just click on it, and it takes you to the actual study. And if you want to double check something, you can double check. So that's going to wrap up right there at 544. 544 studies. Spine and pancreas studies. Anyone with those kind of issues. This water can go in and have a positive effect on their health. Here's another key thing. Fresh H2 delivers fuel to our 37 trillion cells so they can make what? Energy via what's called ATP. That's a really long word. It's hard for me to say it. The last part is triphosphates. But here's what it kind of looks like in a diagram. And you'll see here, here's the ATP properly being made on this side because it's getting good, healthy water, hydrogen water. Over here is pretty much every other kind of water. You get reduced energy. But let me just show you, because it's the lightest and smallest atom, H2 rapidly diffuses into blood, tissues, and cells. It quickly opens up in your stomach, and it can get into the bloodstream within about 5 minutes by way of your pyloric valve. It just opens right up, goes into your intestines, and then the intestines take it everywhere. Gets it into the circulatory system. And ATP production is more efficient with molecular hydrogen. And lastly, you may not know what ATP is. It's a transporter molecule that's always going through a state of being broken up and then being put back together. And as that takes place, blood cells are becoming alive with oxygen and H2. That's what you want to take away from this. Now we're going to watch a 1-minute video. It's going to show us a doctor taking 3 blood tests. I want you to look at the blood cells under a microscope, okay? So here we go.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gus at Advanced Health and Wellness Centers. We have a wellness clinic where we see people with chronic health conditions. And we're going to take a patient here who really has never gone through our clinic. So this is really good because she's utilized her own methods for health. So it'll be 3 different tests. One will be the baseline, and then one with regular bottled water, and then one with the Italian ionized alkaline water. You're definitely having no movement at all. Very little motion. There was a little some right in the beginning. Being dehydrated, you see, you clump up, but you got movement to start happening. Just drank the ionized alkaline water. Now I see a ton of white.
Yeah.
And movement. And what a difference. What a difference 10 minutes makes.
Yeah.
Boy, what did you think of that movement? So let's analyze that very quickly, okay? Test 1 was baseline. The blood cells had no life, no movement. They were pretty much dead on arrival. There was no white glow inside. Test number 2, after drinking the bottled water, really didn't get it much better. There still was no glow inside the cell and not very much outside the cell, that white glow. But in the 3rd test, after drinking the Tient water, all of a sudden now the blood cells are alive, they're cascading like a waterfall, they're separate, they're nice and round, they're alive with the movement, and they have that white energy both inside the cell and out. That white energy is ATP, and it indicates hydrogen got in there and started making things happen, delivering oxygen with it, minerals, and then, of course, opening up the membrane to let waste out and carry that out. But wasn't that a great, we have a longer version on our websites if you want to see the 7-minute and meet that woman. And she walks into the clinic and she says, you know, I'm healthy. I eat grass-fed meat, and everything's organic, and I do yoga 3 times a week, and I do this and this. And if you watch the 7-minute version, you kind of figure, well, her blood's going to be wonderful. And she was shocked. Her blood was not healthy. So H2 also gives us genuine energy. So right now, I'm a little hopped up, right? You can probably tell I've got energy. This is not caffeine doing it. It's not an artificial stimulant. It's hydrogen and the oxygen, the minerals, the electrolytes that are in there, but primarily the hydrogen. So there's fake energy and genuine energy. And I think all of you know the difference between the two. Most of the time, people are getting fake energy and they end up crashing, jitters, anxiety, and look at all that, irritable, headaches, dehydration. But if you get genuine energy, the kind we get with H2 or molecular hydrogen, there's no crash. You're pure, your alertness is pure. You sleep better. You're not anxious. You're not nervous. And it definitely relieves headaches. No doubt about that. Here's another huge difference in terms of the concentration of H2 in conventional water versus Tyant. This I so want you to make it like the second most important thing that you'll memorize today or try to walk away with. This is really big. And you're the first group that is learning this new research, okay? First group that Tyant has ever taught this to. This is big, okay? Because it has big numbers. So let me show you the numbers. Can someone yell that out? No, that's a fraction. 1/8 millionth. 1/8 millionth. 8 millionth. Look at this number. Now we got 8 million. Now, what do these two numbers mean? Let me show you. This is huge. And I just found this out in the last 3 weeks or so. And I was so excited because I knew it was coming here and I could share it with you. And it's like, no wonder I got all this energy. No wonder I feel like I'm in my 40s and can do cartwheels and all that. Because of this number. Let me show you the difference. Conventional water, whatever it is 8.65 times 10 to the negative milligrams per liter of molecular hydrogen. That means there's less than 1/8 millionth of a milligram per liter. Therefore, according to the experts, there is no therapeutic value of H2 at such a low concentration. So whatever other water you're drinking, if you're not drinking highly ionized and highly infused, enriched with dissolved hydrogen gas, it's basically a waste of time, money. There's no therapeutic value. But look at this. Tyant hydrogen-rich water contains 0.5 to 1.6 milligrams per liter. Look at that number. It's up to 8 million times more hydrogen, or H2, than conventional water. Doesn't that just like blow your mind? We have the chance to drink a water that's 8 million times more potent with therapeutic potential to halt, maybe even reverse 170 diseases and help every organ in our body, or it's virtually every organ. Wow, I mean, just take that in. I mean, 95% of America is doing this. We're hoping as we move throughout the country over the next 5 years, we can really have an impact on communities and get people on the right water, this water. And molecular hydrogen is also the most powerful antioxidant. And we're going to explain that a little bit later in a video. I'll just go through that. But Tyant, just to show you here, Tyant is the only company that can get negative ORP up to over 1,000. My unit in Northern California, we tested and we got 1,022 negative ORP. That's your antioxidant level. That's incredible right there. But we'll come back to that in a moment. So there's your pH chart. And of course, we have it up here as well. And we have it over there. It's everywhere, right? And it's in your books, your binders. But again, basically, when it comes to pH, it stands for potential of hydrogen. And so on the alkaline side is that molecular hydrogen gas. And we get more of it when we have bigger plates, more power, and we have a machine that can output that 8 million times more potency of H2. So when we drink that kind of water, we're associated with health, happiness, strength, and youth. That's why I'm feeling so much younger now. More leading doctors are recommending ionized water. This is Dr. William Kelly. Look what he said. Most important advancement in healthcare since penicillin. Remember when that was discovered? 1928, was it? So, and then Dr. Johnson says most profound discovery of our time. And then this doctor talks about how America's just behind. We've ignored what the Asians have been doing for 30, 40 years. And we have testimonials from all over the world, doctors, celebrities, pro athletes, average people like you and I. I was just having a communication with, do you know who Rick Springfield is? Yeah, he's 68, you know. Anyway, we're kind of buddies now. We email, and he recommended a Tyant ionizer to this famous movie star. I can't say his name, but he's the star of the Murdoch Mysteries. Have any of you ever watched that show? Well, he just started drinking that, and we're probably going to get a video from him on that. But even so we on our website you can read to your heart's content hundreds of testimonials. But I thought this would be interesting to show you if you have pets or animals. If you look at this one right here, our dog Red, his cancer is in remission. Tyant water makes all the difference. If you have a horse, Mel, the asthmatic horse, it healed up the horse's breathing problems. And then there's this one down here. I like Leo the most. Leo down here, he could not get up on his own because of inflammation, and he had arthritis. The dog was just laying around. They started giving him Tyant water with the hydrogen. The hydrogen went in, remodeled him from the inside out. He gets up, back to normal. So it even good for our pets. Let's now watch one of our favorite videos, the 5 demos of Tyant water. Those are the 5 things now you're going to learn. You're going to love this. This is everybody's favorite, and I can't watch it enough. It is so good. So we'll try to do a sound check and get it just right. So here we go.
First, we're going to touch on something called ORP, which stands for Oxidation Reduction Potential. Now, ORP is certainly the most important benefit of alkaline water because it measures the amount of antioxidants that are present in the water. Now, when you think of antioxidants, first I want you to think of the opposite of antioxidants. I want you to think of things that are oxidizing. I want you to think of what makes nails rust. I want you to think of what makes apples turn brown. That's all oxidation. So when we can measure antioxidation or antioxidants, we know that what we're testing actually has an antioxidizing effect as opposed to an oxidizing effect. And that's really the goal here. So what I have here is what's called an ORP meter. This measures the amount of antioxidants that are present in a substance. Now, what we're looking for here is a negative number. You got to look for a little negative sign here on the meter. Now, if you see a negative sign, you'll know that it's an antioxidant. If you don't see a negative sign, you'll know that it has oxidizing properties, and that's not what we want. Let's take a look. What I have here is some Poland spring water, Dasani water, a couple different fruit-flavored waters that you may have seen out at your local supermarket. I've got some Sprite, some local tap water, and I've also got some Tyant 9.5 water. So all I'm going to do is take the meter, go through each one, and show you what kind of readings we're getting. Let's take a look. Let's start first with the Poland spring water and see what we get here. So we're getting about a positive 170. Which means there are no antioxidants present in the water. Moving on, around the same, positive 165. Again, this is not good. It's not what we're looking for. The fruit flavored water is even more oxidizing, goes up to about a positive 200. Another fruit flavored water here. Again, the low 200s positive. Let's see what we have here for Sprite. Again, low 200s positive. Tap water. Low 200s again. Now, tap water is a tricky thing because tap water will vary depending on where you live in the country. If it's well water, if it's city water, if it's filtered, if it's not filtered. But you still notice it doesn't have any antioxidants present. Now we're going to take a look at the Tyant 9.5 alkaline water. Pay attention here. Look for the negative sign on the ORP meter. And watch how quickly that jumps. We're already down to a negative 400. Now, this is very important. That little negative sign you see there tells you that it's antioxidizing or it's full of antioxidants. So you always want to look for a negative when you're measuring ORP. Let's see where we wind up settling down at, about a negative 450. So there you have it. That is the ORP test. And again, that's testing the amount of antioxidants that are present in the water. Anytime you have a positive, it's not an antioxidant. Anytime you have a negative number, the lower that negative number goes, the more antioxidants are present in the water. So now we're going to measure the pH or the potential of hydrogen of each one of these substances. This is a pH chart. In the middle is neutral. Anything to the left is acidic. Anything to the right is alkaline. Now, I don't want you to necessarily think of acidic and alkaline. I want you to think of sickness and health. Acidity is often related to sickness, while alkalinity is often related to being healthy. Your body's always fighting to maintain around 7.365 pH level in the body. But most of the foods we eat, most of the beverages we drink are very acidic. The air you breathe, stress, all those things can contribute to bringing your pH level down. So we want to drink something with high alkalinity to help balance out all of the other things in your life that are trying to drive you down into sickness. Let's take a look at each one of these substances now. What I have here is some simple pH reagent drops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few drops in each one of these cups. I want to see what color it turns. Start with the Poland spring water. Now you can see that's a little worse than neutral. It looks like it's a little bit yellow, so not quite neutral, but not very acidic. The Dasani, put a couple more in there. There you go. A little more acidic, as you can see from the color there. When we get into these fruit drinks, this is Fruit 2.0. Put a few drops in there. You see, that's very acidic. It's very red, very acidic. It's not good. Moving on here. Again, another fruit drink, very acidic. Move on to Sprite. Again, very bad, very acidic. Take a look at our tap water here in New Jersey. Tap water here is actually slightly acidic as well. And then we'll go on to the Tyant 9.5 alkaline water. Take a look at this. There you go. You got a nice alkaline pH. Now, here's what's important to remember about the pH scale. It's a logarithmic scale. This means that every time you go 1 point down on the pH scale, it's 10 times more acidic. So when you go from an 8 to a 7, it's 10 times more acidic. But then when you go from a 7 to a 6, it's 100 times. 6 to a 5 is 1,000 times, and so on and so forth. 10 times each point you drop. Now, as you can see, some of these things are a lot worse than others. But the cool thing about it is if you drink the Tyant alkaline water, it doesn't take much to very quickly neutralize the pH of some of these things. Now, some of them, no matter how much you put in, as you see, some of them take more than others, but some of them, no matter how much you put in, you're not going to change them. Like I could take this entire container here and I could pour it in and you can see it's just not going to change because of that logarithmic measurement. It would take 32 glasses of this alkaline Tyant water to neutralize 1 glass of soda or of these fruit-flavored waters because they're so acidic. This one's not so bad because it's just tap water. But that's very important. Here's why it's critical to stay away from things like soda and these fruit-flavored juices or fruit-flavored waters, because just a little bit of it can very quickly turn it back to acidic. Look how quick that happens. Just a little touch can turn it very acidic very quickly. So you want to stay away from these things because it only takes a little bit to start to drag your body down to the acidic side. I've got room temperature tap water and I've got room temperature Tide alkaline water here. I've also got a couple green tea bags. The purpose of this demonstration is to show you how much more hydrating Tide alkaline water is than bottled water, tap water, and just about any other beverage on the planet. I want you to think of these tea bags as the cells in your body. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to soak the tea bags in 2 different types of water, and I want you to watch what happens. First, take the tap water. I'm going to fill this cup up with just plain old tap water. As you can see, not a whole lot's happening. Take the same tea bag here. I'm going to fill it up with Tide alkaline water. And I want you to see if you can notice any differences already. Now, I can go on here and just keep on making tea all day long. Remember, I'm making tea here with room temperature water. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, well, that's just the tea bag. It's soaked with water here already. But watch this. If we go back to our tap water, as you can see, you don't get any kind of an effect like you do with the Tide water. And we can just go on here, take this tea bag. So you notice this is any kind of a tricky tea bag here. Bring that one over here and watch what happens. Just as easy with the Tide water. Just keep on making that tea. And we can do this all day long. I can make about 20 cups of tea with 1 tea bag. I'm going to stop there because I don't want to make 20 cups. But that just demonstrates how much more hydrating Tide alkaline water really is.
Oh, you mean just now?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some fantastic ways to use alkaline water other than for drinking. I've got a couple different cups here with tomatoes. I'm going to soak these tomatoes in 2 different types of water. And I'm going to show you that even though you may think you've been cleaning your vegetables at home, you really haven't been. Watch this. Tap water right here. Just going to fill this up, let it soak. I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, as you may or may not know, there's all different kinds of things on vegetables that you don't necessarily want on vegetables. Herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, all kinds of things that you definitely don't want to be eating or feeding to your family. So what do? A lot of people rinse it in tap water, which I'll put here. But what I do is I rinse it or soak it in Tide turbo water. I'm going to show you why. What I've got here is some sesame seed oil. Now, I'll take a little bit of this and pour it in the bottom of the cup here. A little bit and pour it in the bottom of this cup here. Now, everybody knows that oil and water don't mix, right? Of course. I want to show you something really cool. First, I'm going to take tap water. I'm going to prove what we already know to be true. As you can see, the separation, the oil and the water are separating very quickly. Once again, that's what oil and water are supposed to do. They're supposed to separate. But in this bottle, this is a Good Life bottle. This is a bottle that we designed to maintain the properties of alkaline water. It's dual-walled, vacuum sealed, because things that affect alkaline water are air and light. So we keep it nice and vacuum sealed. We keep it away from the light. Lasts for a very long time. Take my Tide Turbo water. Watch what happens here. We've essentially just emulsified oil. Come on, people. Nothing else can do that on the planet. We've taken modified water that we've put through a time machine, and we've emulsified oil. Now, why did I mix this demonstration with the tomato demonstration? Let me go back to tomatoes and show you why. When you deal with tomatoes, you're dealing again with herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, but they're oil-based. As you can see, oil and water don't mix. So when rain comes down from the sky, it's not washing off these herbicides, pesticides, insecticides. Either is your tap water. I'm going to prove that to you right now. Let's just set these aside. Now remember, the one on the left over here is our tap water. We've been soaking our tomatoes in the water for about, I don't know, a few minutes now. And look at that. Nice clear water. Watch this. We take our tomatoes that are being soaked in the Tide Turbo water. What just happened there? Well, we've got a whole cup here full of herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides. In this cup, we've got nothing. So where are all the herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides that were on these tomatoes? They're still on those tomatoes. So if you're washing your vegetables in regular tap water or bottled water, you're not really washing them at all. If you were to taste this tomato versus the one soaked in Tide Turbo water, you won't even believe it. It's amazing how much better your fruits and vegetables are going to taste when you remove all of these chemicals. This is nothing other than a cup full of chemicals that were on these tomatoes and are still on these tomatoes. Which one would you rather give to your family? The ones with the chemicals or the ones without? You will not believe the taste of clean, fresh vegetables when all the chemicals are removed. Chlorine is extremely bad for you, especially consuming it. You may or may not know that you're absorbing a lot of it in the shower as well. So you want to avoid chlorine as much as possible. One of the cool things about the fantastic filtration in the time machines is going to remove all that chlorine for you. So let me just demonstrate that for you here. This is just ordinary tap water. Put that in. And then we'll take a little bit of Tide water here that's been through our Tide filters. And what I have here, just some chlorine reagent drops, just demonstrates how much chlorine is present in the water. So we'll take some of this and put it in here like that. We'll take some, put it in here like that. Now, if you take a look here, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Move the lemons out of the way so you can kind of get a different take on it here. I want you to notice that the one right here is turning yellow. And what that is that's the chlorine that's present in the water reacting to the reagent drops. So just want to show you there that the Tide water has no chlorine in it because it's being removed by our filtration. Now, once again, people, I'm going to go back and talk to you about what you're cleaning your vegetables with at home. I'm going to set this aside for a second. I'm going to set the Tide water aside for a second. I'm going to leave just plain old tap water here with the chlorine reagent to show you that chlorine is in the water. What I have here, just some lemons I sliced up. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of these lemons in the water here and just let those soak for a second. Now, last time we did a vegetable cleaning demonstration, we were trying to show how to get the herbicides, pesticides, insecticides off of the vegetables. But what I want you to think about here is there any chance that we're actually putting something onto or into vegetables that shouldn't be there, that wasn't already there? Here's how it works. Had the lemon sitting here with the chlorine. Watch this. Notice how all the yellow is gone? That means there's no more chlorine in the water. That's because all the chlorine that was in the water is now in your fruits and vegetables. So if you're washing your fruits and vegetables with tap water that has chlorine in it, it means you're eating it, you're feeding it to your family. So you want to get that chlorine out of your water.
Did you recognize that superstar? Yeah. That's my favorite video of all time about this. What about you so far? You learned so much. So now we're going to move from solution to the company behind it. And so whenever you make a business decision or investment in something, three things, right? Most of you know this. We want to make sure it's an established company, strong business model, and customer satisfaction. Well, starting with established, right? A+ rating with the BBB. And the company's been around in the United States over 15 years. In the actual manufacturing that's done in Korea, over 31 years. So this isn't just some rookie company that just got started. The Tyant has been a pioneer, really probably the best pioneer in this industry. And I checked them all out when I was trying to decide what brand to buy. Next is business model. It's not an MLM. It's a manufacturer direct to dealer, direct to you. So you're not paying some inflated amount of money so all these upline people can get paid their commissions. And lastly, customer satisfaction. We have a 5-star rating on Amazon, which we'll talk about later. But Tyant as a company has whenever we've called, my wife and I, we were customers for 4.5 years before I became involved at this level as a dealer and then in a national role. And I have to say, every word right there is true. They try to dazzle you. They try to make sure you're as happy as can be. We will go out of our way to make you happy. And it's one of those rare companies. Once in a while, you come across a rare company that from top to bottom, bottom to top, they're all fabulous people. Tyant's the official water ionizer for this cancer treatment center. Maybe you're aware of it. Since '63, 100,000 patients, over 50 years. And here's what Dr. Contreras says. He's the main man that makes the decisions. We are happy with the water quality, taste, and the ORP rating. Now you understand ORP, that Tyant water provides our cancer patients. It's one of the first things they put you on when you go down there. And I had one customer tell me it's $33,000 to go down there and check in at a minimum. And you have to commit to X amount of weeks to be there, $33,000. Well, we could do it for a lot less right here with our own ionizer and make it fresh in our kitchen. Here's all the certifications, accreditations. Those are hard to get and take years. In fact, they take over 10 to 15 years to get. And only Tyant offers all these features. No other company does this. Watch this. They upgrade you to a lifetime warranty with no fine print, no stipulations, at a value of $1,250. They make sure every dealer includes a lifetime warranty. Lifetime customer care or customer support, either through your dealer or Tyant Corp. Now, what's the value on that? What company provides you with lifetime customer support? Well, that's how the president designed the company. He wanted customers to not have to worry ever again about their ionizer. It's a certified medical device. It filters at kidney dialysis levels. Largest medical grade titanium plates in the industry. If you laid them out, 2.67 square feet. 32 inches by 32 inches square, the largest in the industry. When we compare ours with the others, you get like half of the size. Thus, you get half of the ionization. And the ORP goes way down. The hydrogen, remember, instead of getting 8 million times, now their machines are giving you 4 million, 3 million, 2 million, 1 million times. I don't know about you. I want 8 million in my system if I'm going to do this. 75-day in-home trial. You get to try it out for 75 days. It's got an advanced power supply. More power means higher negative ORP, and it also means more hydrogen, as I just mentioned. So it can faster and more deeply hydrate. And then it has this innovative one-touch design with voice guides. Would you like to hear the machine talk to you today? So here we go. I have one, but it's not hooked up to plumbing. But here's Rick Springfield calls his Roger. He gave it a name. So we'll say this is Roger. And he calls it his little robot. He's been drinking Tient water for, I think, about 7, 8 years. And so when you press a button,
Alkaline, level 1.
maybe I should put it right there. So it'll start flashing.
Drinking water comes out.
Can you hear that?
Suspension of water supply.
So it's telling me it has no water supply, right? And so if I wanted Alkaline 3, eventually that's...
Alkaline, level 3.
So it's going to be talking to you. It has like 7 languages you can choose from, and I'm sure they're going to add more.
Suspension of water supply.
It has a cleaning cycle it'll tell you about. I mean, it's just so cool. And this is being installed in multi-million-dollar homes all over the place. We put one, remember, Nick, we put one in a multi-million-dollar home, Nick's. But we put 3 units for this mega person in Las Vegas, and he wanted 3. So, you know, he had 7,000 square feet. He wanted them everywhere. So, sure, we'll do that. But, and later you can come up and we'll show you a little bit more about that. So, let's now invite our hostess forward, and she's going to make a couple brief announcements, okay? So, Atina, if you could hand her the microphone. Thank you.
Wow. Was that a lot to learn and digest? How many of you feel like you've learned a lot about water? I know that I have, and I will continue to learn. Stephen, thank you for your hard work and thousands of hours of research. Let's give Stephen a hand. Your presentation is amazing. And I truly believe the purest and healthiest water on earth is just one small step away from all of us. Just as a reminder, at the conclusion, Stephen has a very special announcement that you do not want to miss. Let's now invite Stephen back up to show how a Tient ionizer can actually save us money and how affordable they are for everyone.
Very kind words. Thank you, Mary. We also want to remind you that all of you have a wonderful free gift, so don't leave without it. We have one of our state-of-the-art Good Life bottles for you. These are so good. And, you know, this is a bottle Tient designed. It's better than any other bottle out there. And we're going to see a little video on it in a little bit, but all of you get a free bottle today. So let's keep going. Let's get back to it. So before we discuss our 4th area, let's try a little bit of humor again. This is not so much a joke. It's just, have you ever seen the water cycle in cartoon form? I thought this was kind of cute if any kids were to come. And what do you think of that? There's the sun. The sun pulls the water up, and it's like a water slide back down to the earth. Kind of interesting, huh? It's not a gut-wrenching laughter type of thing. It's kind of, oh, okay. Okay, so let's get to savings and cost, all right? This is what impressed us when we were kind of checking it out. Can it actually save money? Your answer, please?
Yes.
Try again.
Yes, 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 yes.
One more time. Okay.
Yeah, baby.
So here we go. Based on your initial purchase, replacing filters, and your tap water bill, it only costs about 5 to 6 cents a glass the first 5 years. After that, it's only 1 to 2 cents a glass, which means it'll end up in year number 6, 32 cents a gallon. For the healthiest water on earth, 32 cents a gallon when you get to that 6-year mark. We're at the 6-year mark now. That's what our water's costing. 32 cents a gallon. Second, the average American family can save $2,000 per year. Let me show you how. These are all or some of the things you can replace, and you won't have to buy them anymore, because acidic turbo can do these things. Acid level number 1 can do these things. Alkaline turbo can do all those things. And of course, you won't have to buy bottled water anymore. And that's based on Google prices as of 2013. So actually that should be updated pretty soon. So it's more than 2,000. And that's for a family of 4. So if you're a family of 2, just cut it in half. It's $1,000 a year. And there's so many ways to use the water throughout the day. Inside of your student binder, you should see that brochure. It shows you 75 ways to use it all day long to actually save money. A lot of times people come and they think they're maybe going to buy something, and so it's money out of their pocket. But we're going to show you in reverse, you're actually going to save money. So how do we save money? First of all, vitamins, herbs, and supplements. That's what the average single American spends, or couple, the average throughout the United States. And some of you probably take more than that, or that average. So how many of you take some each day? Take some herbs, supplements, or vitamins? So pretty much everybody does now that's health conscious. Well, we had a customer recently. She had only been on the water 2 weeks. And she drove by our house, and she yelled at me because I was out doing some gardening. And she said, Stephen, come here, Stephen. What? I got to tell you this. I just came back from the doctor, and he says to cut all of my supplements and herbs in half. She was spending $200 a month. Cut that in half. Now she's just spending $100. Immediately she saved $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. In 3 years, that's how much? $3,600. In 5 years, $6,000. Did I do that right? In 5 years, she saves $6,000. You're going to see that a water ionizer actually saves us money. It also, you want to think about current and future medical bills. Think about the annual cost for deductibles, prescription drugs, co-pays, doctor visits, even the cost of just one future surgery. I was scheduled to have a second LASIK surgery in this eye. I'd already had one here, started to drink the water, went back to my, is it ophthalmologist? Is that what you call him? He looks in my eye and he goes, your cataracts are, what's the word when they diminish? What's the word for that? Yeah, they started just to go away. Thank you, dissipate. That's the word I wanted. Thank you. And so I looked up, I said, well, what is a cataract? Did you know it's a protein? It's protein that builds up on the lens, and it just starts layering itself. The Tynant water goes in there and remodels the eye, gets it fully hydrated. And I had like, I don't know, is it like 2080 or 2100? Did it go 20 and the other, I forget, it was a high number. I go back to him a year later after drinking the water, this eye was 2030. And of course, the laser surgery done in this one is 2020. I saved $3,500 out of pocket for that surgery. So I avoided one future surgery. So just factor that in. Would you like to maybe avoid one future surgery? You know, not just the cost, but everything that goes along with it. So just imagine that happening. We always have to use this FDA disclaimer so you don't run off and start firing your doctors and not, consulting. We should always respect the good, excellent work. They go to medical school, they learn so much, and they know so much more about biology than all of us probably combined. And so while we talk about what the water can do and we can prove it, it's not FDA approved in this country because the water industry and the healthcare industry and the pharmaceuticals, you know how big that is combined? It's probably pushing $1 trillion or more. And so you're going to have that pushback. If we tried to get this FDA approved here in this country, we'd be swimming upriver for 20, 30, 40 years. So we just don't need to. So need you to see that. So the average bills are these. I just want you to see, look at prescription, help me? Prescription drugs, tier 4 is 93. What if you could get rid of one of those drugs? We have one customer that was on 11 drugs, was it 11 or 10, and now down to 7. So he's saving about $200 a month just on prescription drugs. He's 80 years old. I'll show you a picture in a little bit. And he is like fit as a fiddle now. I mean, he's 80 years old and he's just so happy. Had all kinds of heart problems. So how much you'll save, it's going to depend on your circumstances. But you can save 100, 200 or more just on health related. So let's just add it up. Let's just be conservative. We could be saving $100 on supplies and bottled water. We can be saving, let's just be conservative, $100. Current deductibles and copays. And future, we can't really put a number on that. So let's just leave that blank. Most of you are going to experience in the hundreds of dollars at some point every month of savings. I want you to think about that. And it's going to depend on your size. But we have customers report to us all the time, I'm saving 100, 200, 300. And I want to ask my wife in regards to us, how much are we saving now? Or how did we, you go ahead.
At first, we started saving about $100 a month. And then as I found the more uses for the water, and we saved on mouthwash and things like that and cleaning supplies, then it was going up to $300. And then we cut back on a lot of our supplements. So now we were saving like $500 a month. So it just kept growing and we kept saving.
So we're personally at about the $400 or $500 range. I mean, some of you will hit that. That's the type of savings we're talking about. So now we've got to that point that you've been waiting for, right? How much does a Tyant ionizer cost? Well, 15 years ago, it was big and bulky. That's how much it cost, $10,000 to $15,000. Look at that huge thing. So in Korea, it was being used only in the hospitals. In the US, only celebrities and wealthy could afford to remodel their kitchen. Look how huge that thing is. Can you imagine rolling? It's like a dishwasher. And so they'd have to redo the entire kitchen for that. Well, it took many years of research and re-engineering by Tyant USA to take such a large machine and reduce the size and get the cost under $10,000. So how much do you think a top-of-the-line Tyant ionizer costs today? in your head, just try to think of a number. A lot of times I ask that question and someone will yell out, $7,000, $5,000. And I'm going, well, you're getting close. So let's get to it, okay? Because I know you want to know. How much does a tie and ionizer cost? Well, before we answer the question, I'm going to ask you just 2 more questions. What is the price of our good health? What's it worth? What's your answer to that? Just yell it out. Let's see if you're correct. Yes. How do you put a price on your health? Your health is everything. I've got my health back now. If the tie and ionizer cost $20,000 or even down to 10, let's say 10, I would pay it today. Really, if I knew it could do all this. So again, how much does a tie and ionizer cost? Here's what it really costs. The 9 and 11 plate models range from $34.95 to $49.95. And then the warranty upgrades are $12.50. Our customer services with a white glove, what we call white glove, $475. And then we have these upgrades and we pay for these other things we included. So the package of our ionizers runs from $5,300 to a little over $6,800. Now, again, with what I know now, I would be happy to pay that. But would you like the price to come down a little bit? Because at least a little bit, right? So let's see if we can bring it down. Let's just take the top 2 models. The one I was showing you there that's under counter and it mounts, the faucet is up above, very beautiful. And then the above counter, they're both 11 plate. The package is $6,802 for that. Right now there's a $1,500 discount that is being run. So now we're down to $5,302. However, they've got the free upgrades to the lifetime warranty. That's another $1,250. So now we're at $4,000. We're also going to include the dealer white glove customer services, and we'll explain that in a little bit. Now we've got it down to $35.77. And we're going to take care of that $82 of upgrade, test kit, and shipping. So now we've got it down from $6,800 all the way down to a little under $3,500 or $34.95. So that's the price, $34.95 for peace of mind for the rest of your life in terms of advancing age, diseases, and so forth. And you can see why it's a good deal at $34.95. We've got the 75-day in-home trial, lifetime customer support, the $1,500 off, the lifetime warranty, the white glove customer service, these free items. So that's a total savings of $3,300. So that's the price, $34.95. But we have some more good news. Mary wants to do something extra special for this group today. And she has such a good heart. She wants to also give you a free bonus pack of these top 4 items included with the ionizer. So, and they have a total value of $150 and still give you a very good price of $34.95 for that. So here's them one by one. The Shower Lux filter, that's this right here. Incredible filter. And just look at that. Lasts up to 12 months. It tells you when it's time to change. And it really takes out the chlorine. And it's got a Gold Seal certificate. It has a fast flow rate. You really get a good flow rate out of it. So that's a $75 value. The Good Life bottles, they're just incredible. So well made. They come in 7 different colors depending on the size that you pick. On Amazon, 5-star rating. But the key is They use food grade 18/304 stainless steel. That's so important. So that's a $35 value. And by the way, everyone gets a free one today. So, so I hope we get a little. So let's quickly, just real fast. I want you to see the quality of this. And let's see, is our sound working? And if it's not, that's okay. You can actually read. There you go. That's probably the highest quality, bottle that's made. The other two items that she includes also is a stainless steel ice tray, so you can make healthy ice cubes. So we make number 3 or number 4 ice cubes. I like to have a happy hour. Anybody here like to have a happy hour at home? It's okay to admit it. I have a happy hour once or twice a week. And I love my spiced rum. Well, I shouldn't say I love it. Boy, it sounds like doesn't sound right, does it? But I do. Thank you. I enjoy it. Thank you for helping me with the language. I enjoy it. I also enjoy a good brandy, aged and smooth. And I like good vodkas. Those are my 3 go-tos, right? Well, what I do is I fill my glass with number 4 alkaline ice cubes with the hydrogen in it. So the acidity of the drink moves to neutral. The taste is fabulous. And I get to have a healthy happy hour. Hey, pretty good, huh? And so when we have friends over, I say, you want to have a healthy happy hour with me? And I start serving them up. And I know I'm helping them as well. So you'll get one of each of these. That's a value of $40. So now we add that in, and look at the price. We're almost at $7,000, and you're getting it pretty much for half price as a package deal. That's just, it really is. It's a better deal than we got when we bought ours. But that's another story. So let me just show you real quick a video so you can just see it in action. And there's some music that goes with this. Imagine some delightful music. Just it truly is, it's 2 things. It's a luxury kitchen appliance, but it's also a certified medical device. This is the next appliance that's going to, over time, be in every kitchen or most kitchens as the next 10, 20, 30 years occur in this country. Because the revolution is here now. We just have to get the word out. So think about this. If all it did for the rest of your life was protect your family from toxins, poisons, pesticides, chemicals, bacteria, would it be worth $34.95? Your answer?
Well, yes.
Yes. I mean, if that's all it did. If all it did was protect your family from, now we have to say 170 disease models. Would it be worth $34.95 to avoid one catastrophic disease? And your answer?
Give me a Y, give me an E, give me an F.
And then finally, Would it be worth it if all it did was flood your body and the cells and organs with that molecular hydrogen 8 million times more than any other water? Would it be worth $34.95? And your answer is yes, it would be. So I picture all of you like this, right? This is in my mind. This is you guys, right? And right now you're thinking about that price, and the wheels are turning, aren't they? You know, shall I don't know, shall I do this or not? Most of you are thinking, wow, this is a very good deal. I really want to buy one of these and try it for 75 days. But then there's this person. Okay, a few of you might be thinking, yeah, it's a great deal, but $34.95 is just a little too much for our budget right now. Just a little bit. Can't handle it right now. No worries. There's our happy face again. Because we have a incredible finance program with payments as low as $99 a month. And you get a soft credit check, doesn't hurt your credit at all. And we have up to 97% approval rating, of applicants are approved for it. So if it's saving you $100 or $200 or $300 a month, and it only costs you $99 a month, are you losing money, or are you actually saving money in your house? You're saving money. So before you say, yes, I'm ready, come on, let's do this, we have one more exciting announcement to make. So I have the privilege of inviting Joe Bakuti forward, the CEO and president of Tyant USA.
You got this. Oh, yeah, just how you guys holding up? All right. We got to give one more round of applause to Stephen and Tina Clark and Mary Kay. Come on, guys. They put the whole thing together. I walked in here like 12 noon, and Tina Clark was under the sink plumbing the ionizer in by herself. Come on. It's a true story. She had would you have a wrench? Had a wrench? Said something going on? All right. So I just want to thank you all. It's Sunday. You guys have probably a lot of different options for today of what you want to do. Today's Sunday. I appreciate you all being here. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. There's so many things that I learned. I've been doing this for about 15 years. Matter of fact, about 15 and a half years ago, I was traveling the world doing hypnotherapy for smoking cessation and weight loss and a few other things. And I spent a lot of years studying the mind and how it works. And I learned a lot about how your mind actually controls your body. But there was always a component that was missing. There was something there that needed to happen physically as opposed to mentally. And I started to study and learn about Eastern medicine. And I jumped on a plane with a one-way ticket to South Korea. And I started to make relationships and try to learn. And I learned that 1 in every 5 households had a water ionizer. And I also learned that their life expectancy was significantly greater than ours. So I made relationships with many different factories, trying to figure out who knew what they were doing, who didn't. We were handling materials. Inside these machines is platinum. Anybody know what platinum costs per ounce right now? It's $1,000 an ounce, guys. You have 11 plates inside these machines. 11 plates inside, $1,000 an ounce. Every single plate is coated with platinum. It's titanium underneath, platinum over top, because it's the metal that we need to separate this water. When Stephen held up this unit, it's kind of hard to picture what happens. When you press the button, you actually get 2 different streams. You actually get an alkaline stream here and an acidic stream through here. And the general rule of thumb is that alkaline water is great for the inside of your body, and acidic water is great for the outside of your body. Some of you ladies may go to salons and pick up the $50 conditioner at the end. If you look at the pH of the conditioner or good astringents for your face, they're always in like the 4s or the 3s, because that's what the natural pH of the outside of your body is. The inside of your body is always struggling to hit that 7.365. If it goes even a couple points one way or another, you get yourself in a lot of trouble. So everything we do every single day, whether it's being stressed out or just eating regular foods or drinking things that you don't even really think twice about, they're all trying to drag you down to the wrong direction. And the alkaline water, because it's so far the other direction, it helps balance you out because it is a logarithmic scale. Logarithmic scales are most importantly known from earthquakes. You hear about like the Richter scale, right? The Richter scale is a logarithmic scale. If you have a 3 on the Richter scale, it's like, okay, go to a 4, it's 10 times worse. 5 is 10 times worse. It's 10 times better to be each alkaline point up from neutral, every single one. So if you're drinking Coca-Cola, you're at about 2.8. So we go from 2.8, 3.8, 4.8, 5.8, 6.8, 7.8, 8.8, 9.8. So just do the math. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. You're doing 1,000,000 times better with the pH and the ORP and all the other things that Stephen talked about with the hydrogen. This is a unique scenario for me because obviously, you know, for the last 15 years, I've been running this company. I don't get to get out to as many of these types of events as I'd like to. This is important to me. I try to get to the top 5, guys. You guys are number 4 of the worst water in the country, right? You got California, you got North Carolina, you got, what is it? You guys learn this?
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. There's one more. Number 5.
Texas?
Texas, yes, Texas. So I like to try to get to at least the top 5 because it becomes so important. We talk about logarithmic scales, right? How it's 10 times more important. Well, it's 10 times or 100 times more important for you guys than it is for guys in, say, you know, Michigan, because their water is not as bad as yours is. But in these scenarios, the most important part for us is to try to educate you. And hopefully you'll all leave here with something. A little bit, you know, every time I read a book, I try to get a few what I call aha moments, where I read a book and I go, aha, like I didn't know that, right? If I get a couple of those out of every book I read, it's a good book. Hopefully you will all leave here with a few aha moments saying, I didn't know that, you know, I didn't understand that. And Steve does a great job of trying to break it down to layman's terms. What makes it difficult is our ultimate goal is to try to get every single one of you drinking this water because of the importance of it. Because we know that we have, over the last 15 years, less than a 1% return rate after a 75-day trial. Because it's the kind of thing that hits you instantly. Many of you saw the blood video. In fact, almost all of you. A few of you might have bounced to the bathroom or something like that. But most of you saw the blood video. That wasn't like 4 days later or 6 weeks later. That was seconds. So this is one of the few things that happen to you instantly because of the size of hydrogen and now it's the smallest molecule on the planet. It hits you very quickly and hits you in many different ways. And that's what's unique about it because everything that this water offers, it offers instantly. So we're very proud of the fact that we have less than 1% return rate over the last 15 years. Now, what's difficult about these types of scenarios is you guys spend 3 hours, maybe 2-3 hours with us. And I don't know about all of you, but whenever I shop, I always do research. If something's over $1,000, I'm like, go home and research it, right? You want to think about it. So we try to put something special together for all of you to make you at least consider why it's a good idea to get it now. Now, what I did is I asked Stephen, hopefully he did it here, put a slide together. This is us on Amazon. Anytime we put water ionizer on sale, which we did special for all of you, we have to do it on Amazon as well because that's their policy. You have to have the lowest price on Amazon. So this price will go back up to $47.95 in the near future. But I want to direct your attention to the 274 customer reviews. Now, if you are Amazon shoppers, any of you, these reviews come from people all over the country, and they're not easy to get. And it's not often that you see that many reviews for this type of a product at that price amount. But I want you to recognize the price at $34.95, and that $34.95 price doesn't include any of the extras that we're including for you here today. The dealer white glove service, the ultra filters. Mary Kay came up with a big bonus. Those are big things, guys. At $34.95, this shower filter, you may or may not know, your body absorbs about 8 to 12 glasses of the contaminants in your water every time you take a shower. So whatever you have in your water, your skin is actually a what? Quiz?
Sponge.
It's an organ. Your skin is your largest organ, right? So your skin's very porous. So your skin is actually absorbing everything you have in your water. So this shower filter here, we designed it to remove 99%, a little bit higher than that, of most of the contaminants in your water. The Good Life bottles, another design thing, guys. We didn't just go make a bottle. The water has many different properties, right? ORP, you learned about that. It's the level of antioxidants in the water. The pH level, right? The hydrogen level. Do you know that hydrogen can penetrate almost anything? Hydrogen can penetrate glass. That means if you took a glass of hydrogen water and you put it in a glass jar and sealed the jar, the hydrogen would escape through the glass. It's amazing how small that is. Now, if hydrogen can escape glass, you can imagine how quickly it can penetrate your cells. And that's what we're trying to do, guys. Everything's at a cellular level. So we designed this dual-walled stainless steel. It's 18304, which just means it's food grade. It's not going to leach. Water tends to like to leach things from whatever it's in. If it's in plastic, it's going to leach all the different chemicals that make up the plastic. Most negatively is phthalates. Phthalates mimic the female hormone estrogen, right, which isn't great. That's all regulated by your body. You don't want to be drinking, especially if you leave water in a bottle in a car, in the heat, in the sun, at the beach. It starts to leach all those different chemicals. These ice trays, I can't take credit for those. Stephen and Tina Clark found these ice trays, also 18304 stainless steels. I think they just like the crack of that. That's like a 1970s thing, right? That crack, right? Yes. Some of you may have seen these. I just got to grab one real quick. But you actually have to take this handle here, and you got to pull it up and crack the ice. It's old-fashioned, but it's expensive, guys. Like plastic is cheaper, but if your ice is sitting in plastic for all that time, it's going to be leaching again. Whatever's in that plastic, most negatively, is those phthalates. So those are. Oh, and the amber jugs, Stephen. Yell out the most important part about the amber jugs.
Well, the ability to keep the potency of the water longer.
Exactly. And we touched on that with the stainless steel and the amber. Light affects alkaline water. So the amber tint to those jugs is also something, and the thickness of the glass. The thickness of the glass is also something that helps promote and keep that hydrogen inside of it. So those are all great bonuses that Mary came to us and said, hey, I want to do something special for all my guests here that are coming out on a Sunday and spending their time with us. And again, guys, hopefully you learn something. You'll leave here with something valuable. So I said, what am I going to do? I wanted to do something special. I only make it to probably 3. I've been to one of yours before, maybe 3 of these a year. And I'd love to be at all of them. It's just trying to manage the company and try to keep it going and growing. We've been growing every single year. Done over $50 million in sales, guys. So this thing is the science. The market is generally 10 years behind the science. So the science started to come out around 2007. 2017, you're just going to see it. It's been going like this, and now it's just going to go like this. 1 in 5 households in Asia have these in their homes already. In the beginning years, we could only sell it to movie stars and athletes because they were gigantic and they were $15,000 to $20,000. Now, through technology, just like everything else, we've gotten small enough to where you can actually have one in your home. So I said, okay, let me do something special. So what I want to do for everybody here that understands now the importance of the water and wants to take advantage of the health benefits of the water and do a 75-day trial, I said I will personally add an additional from myself, an additional, $500. So that'll knock another $500 off that price, which is coming from me. That'll just go to you from me towards the price. And hopefully that'll help manage the cost. And with the financing, that's also something you can apply for. And even if with the $500 off, it feels too much to manage, our financing program, we partnered up with a great company. Even when you run your credit check, it doesn't affect your credit. We get instant results. We can do that for you as well. right now. So with that, guys, I appreciate your time. I'm going to bring Stephen Clark up just for a couple more minutes. And thanks for listening. Thanks for coming out on Sunday. I appreciate it, guys.
And I need my clicker back. Give me my clicker. So with an extra $500 off, and we just put this together, made this, say it for me, decision today to do this. Now with another $500 off, it's $29.95. I mean, that's incredible. So please remember, lifetime warranty, it's a one-time purchase. That's so important to remember. And Tyant builds them to last 10, 20, 30 years or more. You have a lifetime warranty. Anything malfunctions, they'll repair it. If they can't repair it, they send you a brand new replacement. And if your model is no longer made, they will upgrade you to what's current. That's the kind of company Joe has built. I've never seen a company this customer-oriented. So at 20, I want you to just think for a moment. Let's do some math. At $29.95 over a 10-year period, just look at what it cost. That's less than $300 a year over a you're going to own it 10 or 20 years or 30. That's less than $25 a month. That's really what it comes down to. Less than $25 a month. And so it really is the better deal than we got. But, that's... So now, let's go back to the brain and what you might be thinking. Perhaps all of you are thinking, $29.95, 75-day trial, lifetime warranty. Yes! Now I'm even more ready. Let's do this. So, like these health-conscious people, you can start drinking and using water for wellness. And like these real customers, these are Tina and my real customers. Remember I told you the 80-year-old couple? They're both about 80, 81. He was on 11 medications. His face and all over his body was covered in red patches. He had open heart surgery. He had all these things happen. He's now down to 7 medications and going for walks and doing all kinds of things at 80. This couple is in their 70s. They just bought their second ionizer. They have the one in the kitchen. They put one in their upstairs master bath. So they could have the water fresh in the morning, and it's kind of a big house. And then when they go to bed at night, it's right there, right by, and it's easy to plumb into your bathroom sinks. And then this couple here is in their 60s, and she had surgery, had the fastest recovery, she said, ever. This is a couple in their, I think, 40s or late 30s, loving it. And dear old Emma, she was our very first customer. And when we met her, she was confined to her home, depressed, all kinds of aches and pains, chronic fatigue, and digestive problems. Now, she's almost 70. Now she does, you know what Zumba classes are? Ever heard of that? She does 3 in a row. Zumba classes. And she's trying to drag my wife to do all 3, and she can do 1. But at 70 years old, 3 Zumba classes? That's what this water can do. So, I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I hope you'll unanimously say
yes.
Okay, so here we go. Are you ready to maximize hydration with molecular hydrogen?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if you can beat the next one. Are you ready to improve your overall health and wellness? Yeah, that was perfect. help your body age more slowly and gracefully. Yes.
Well, yes.
Protect your family from the dead, acidic, and toxic waters we're surrounded with.
Yes.
And actually save 100 or 200, 300 or 400. At some point, you will be saving in the hundreds. So if your answers, which you all did say yes, then you are ready to buy the #1 ionizer in America, Titan. And that's what they look like. And so as our last slide, we just want to show you Mary again. And to begin your 75-day trial, it's so easy. It just takes 5 minutes to fill out a form and pick out your package and so forth. So Mary's going to come forward with just a few little comments. And so about 2 more minutes.
I just discovered this electrolyte powder for people that don't like the taste of water, and it's raspberry. It's another flavor. It tastes great. Plus, you get the benefits of it. My mom had emergency surgery, and she almost died, and I shared the water with her when she came home from the hospital. And about a week later, the caregivers said, "What happened to Mary?" And I said, "She started drinking the water. She improved that much that she was walking, talking, and eating and sleeping where she wasn't." And I've had some health issues. I had stomach troubles for about 5 years. I had my gallbladder out, and that didn't even help, and the water helped me. I had fibromyalgia from a few different car accidents and arthritis and a lot of pain, and it's really reduced it. It's been a godsend to me. So next to owning a home and a car, I think a Tiant ionizer is the most important thing that everyone should own. It's the best investment I've made, and I believe it would be the best health investment you could ever make. Today, with our extra special sale price of $1,500 off, plus the $500 that Joe offered, and the bonus pack of accessories. That shower head is great. Your skin feels so differently when it takes the chemicals out and the chlorine. And many of the different things, like your food tastes better. I grow bigger and better tomatoes than my neighbors. Just so many different uses. I marinate my meat with the water. I soak my feet. It's just, and it took me a few months to really learn all the uses. They're so numerous. So, and the lifetime forever warranty is really, really important. I know other companies do not have that. And the efficacy of this company is just great. And then to have the lifetime service, a friend of mine bought I'd met her in business, and she had just bought a machine, and she said she had to pay $350 to have somebody, a plumber, come and install it for her, and we'd do that for you. Plus, you have 75 days to try it out. So to me, it's a no-brainer. You can begin having more energy, feeling better, feeling younger, starting right now. So if you would like to place your order today, it's very simple. We have an order form, and we will pass them out to everyone. It only takes about 5 minutes to order the package that you would like, and a small down payment, and to set an appointment when you would like to have your installation. As promised, you will receive white glove customer service. Our team and myself are ready to answer any more questions and take your orders. It's really that simple. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.